Hey y'all, it's story time. So I've gotten a few questions about Moebius syndrome and I just wanted to explain. So Moebius syndrome is a very rare congenital condition characterized by facial weakness and the difficulty with eye movement. It's usually caused or primarily caused by underdevelopment or the absence of cranial nerves 6 and 7. And congenital just means that it's present from birth and it can't really be caused after that. So our son DJ was born with Moebius syndrome in the summer of 2024. And the first night that we had him, his blood sugar actually dropped. So he had to go to the NICU. And while he was in the NICU, of course, they want to make sure that they send baby home in the best condition possible, right? So instead of him coming right home, they kept him in there for 2 weeks. They stabilized his blood sugar, and they noticed a couple of other things, like he was jaundiced and he had some trouble feeding. He also had some oxygen drops in the NICU while sleeping, so they wanted to monitor that. We ended up being sent home with an oximeter, which is a machine that measures the amount of oxygen in the body. And we used that for like the first 2 months of his life. And it was really, I feel like mostly for my comfort, it made me feel better. So I was all for it. Now, fast forward, the main reason he was having trouble feeding is not only was he fresh out of mama, but he had something called Moebius syndrome, which caused him to be unable to move his face in certain ways. So you know how we talk and we can suck out of a straw, all those things. He was unable to move a lot of those facial muscles. So while in the hospital and immediately after, his dad and I noticed that he didn't move his face very much. For instance, when he cried, we noticed he didn't furrow his brow. He just sort of cried without making the faces that are usually associated with crying or associated with discomfort. So when we took him in to his pediatrician recommended that we go see a neurologist. So we went to go see the neurologist, and she diagnosed him with Moebius syndrome. And she said that she could tell that was what it was just based on our explanation and his inability to move certain facial muscles and inability to move his eyes in certain directions, things like that. At this point, he was exclusively breastfeeding just fine. Praise God. So he was gaining weight just fine and already in the 98th percentile for height and weight. The neurologist said she would do an MRI just to confirm that the cranial nerves were underdeveloped, but we declined the MRI at that time because they have to put babies to sleep for that. And since he had issues with his oxygen levels in the NICU, we decided that we would wait for a later date. Especially if it wasn't going to make any difference in his treatment or any follow-ups and things like that. So following that, the neurologist recommended that we see a pediatric ophthalmologist, so a pediatric eye doctor. So we did that next, and this is at about 4 months. The ophthalmologist diagnosed him with something called optic nerve hypoplasia, which is the condition where the optic nerve which connects the eye to the brain isn't fully developed, resulting in like slightly smaller optic nerve, and that can lead to varying degrees of like vision impairment and things like that. Okay, so fast forward. After all of that, we just assumed that DJ would not be able to see very well at all. Like she made it seem like he was going to need a walking stick. So when he started eating solids at 6 months, I started giving him like little things like Cheerios, and baby, my man picked those little Cheerios up off the plate, saw them just fine. So, so hopefully, and he sees us just fine. He recognizes us. He sees his toys just fine. So while his vision might be impaired, my baby can see. So praise God for that. So yeah, I just wanted to give a little bit of DJ's backstory. I received a lot of questions, so that's where we are in the process. DJ is now 1. He is rolling, army crawling, sitting up, doing a lot of the things that 1-year-olds do. And we will keep you posted.